Welcome to Coffee with Crystal. I'm Crystal Joy, contemporary romance author of Completely Captivated, Completely Yours, Shackled Heart, and Shattered Heart. Grab a cup of coffee and join me as I talk about what great assets beta readers are to your team. The reason I'm talking about beta readers today is because I know a lot of you have asked questions about them from my last two videos. So I just wanted to make sure you knew what they were and how you could actually utilize them for your books. One thing you need to think about though before you even ask anyone to be a beta reader for you is you really need to self-assess and make sure that you're ready and open for criticism. I think a lot of times as authors we feel like these books are our babies, they're an extension of ourselves and our heart, and although these characters and this plot may be very important to us, they are not extensions of us. And so when people criticize our work, they're not criticizing us. They're trying to help you make your book better. And so you need to make sure that you're in a good mindset to know that anyone who criticizes your book is there to help you. They want to help you make the book better so that when your book is published and you have lots and lots of readers reading over your book, that you're putting your best foot forward. So just keep that in mind. So when do you contact beta readers? Well, you need to write your rough draft, and a pretty solid rough draft, not a really messy rough draft. So this might be a rough draft that you've read over several times that should at least be readable for other people to look at. And I usually ask about 10 to 15 people. I know others who ask about 5. It really just depends on what you're comfortable with and how many people you actually want reading your rough draft. And I'll be honest, I write terrible rough drafts. So this last draft of Stained Heart that I'm writing is actually the best book rough draft I've written, but this is book 5 for me, okay? So maybe by book 5 I'm starting to be good at rough drafts, but I let people read some pretty bad stuff. But it was readable. It was ready for readers to read, but it still needed a lot of work, and I was okay with that, as long as my beta readers knew that it wasn't a perfect draft. So figure out how many people you want to ask. You can ask friends, family members. If you have other books you've written and you know people who have emailed you or messaged you on Facebook telling you how much they love your books, you could also ask them and see if they would be interested. I also ask Crystal's Crew, so that's my Facebook reader group. I always ask if anyone would be open to reading it, and I always have several people who say yes. Now, I always ask 10 to 15 because I know about 5 of those people will contact me like 3 months later, right before I'm ready to publish the book, and say, "Oh, do you still want me to do that?" And I'll go, "No, like it's almost done. I need you to do it before 3 months." So keep in mind that people will be excited and people will say yes, and some of those people will actually just fall through. But you will get a good handful of people who will do it and be excited to do it. So how do you go about this whole process with beta readers? Once you ask people, what I do is I actually write an email to readers, and I'm going to read this letter to beta readers so that you can get an idea of how I go about this. So I say, "Dear beta reader, thank you for offering to read Shattered Heart, book 2 of the Homeward Bound series. I know you're busy, so I greatly appreciate the time you're taking out of your schedule to read this novel. As you read Shattered Heart, you are welcome to make comments with programs like track changes, but don't feel like you need to. This is still a rough draft and the writing needs a lot of work. There are probably misspellings and grammatical errors, but I'm more concerned with the plot and characters at this point. My editor will take care of the nitty-gritty errors later. Unless, if you have a medical background or experience with cancer and you find incorrect details, please note the mistakes in the page numbers in the novel." For Shattered Heart, this is because the hero of the book is an oncologist, and the heroine's father gets diagnosed with lung cancer. So that's why I put that in there. If you have specific content in there that you don't have a background in, like I have no medical background, it's really important that you find some beta readers who actually have those backgrounds to help find some of those errors that maybe you didn't realize that you'd made. Okay, so my letter goes on to say, "After you read Shattered Heart, I'd like to know, what do you think of the plot? What can I do to make it better? What do you think of Amanda's character? What suggestions do you have for her character development? What do you think of Ethan's character? What suggestions do you have for his character development? What do you think of Ray's character? Is he the same person you thought he was in Shackled Heart? That's because Ray goes from Shackled Heart to Shattered Heart. What suggestions do you have for his character development? What do you think of Grace's character? Grace and Amanda's brother Caleb are the main characters in Book 3, which is why Grace plays a small role in Book 2. This is important to keep in mind. Did I share enough information on her to make you intrigued, or too much information? Lastly, are there any other comments or suggestions you have? Thank you so much. I look forward to reading your response. So if you need the copy of this, I'd be happy to send it to you. Please comment below. I will send you that. Last thing to go along with this is they need a deadline. Your beta readers need a deadline. I usually give them about a month. Some people finish a little before, some people finish a little after. But I need my critique partner, my beta readers, and my editor to all read my book for about the same amount of time, so that when they all finish it, I can get started on that final draft. Once you get these comments, make a list. I'm a very type A personality, so I like lists and organization. So what I do is I organize people's comments and suggestions based on plot. So I have one plot suggestions, I have character suggestions split by characters, so like Amanda, Ethan, and Ray. And then I have if some people, there will be people who, despite you telling them they don't need to do it, they will find errors with punctuation. So I have those and fix those as well. Not necessary. It takes a lot of extra time for them to do that, so I don't know why they do it. But it's still helpful. It still finds errors and mistakes, that you don't have to worry about your editor finding later. But also keep in mind your beta readers are not professionals, so they may be wrong. I have had people who have tried to fix things. I used to be an English teacher, so there are some things that maybe I missed because they're my book, and I missed that, like certain errors, grammatical errors and whatnot. But then people will think that they know some more rules, and then they'll try to fix things that actually don't need to be fixed. So keep that in mind too. These are very wonderful people, and you should be very appreciative of them, but just know that they're also not professionals. This can be a lot of fun, getting their comments back. And so I actually wanted to read some of the comments that I had readers made to me after being some of my beta readers, just so you can get an idea of what other beta readers will see. So here are a couple of them. So under plot, I have Ethan's mom spat in his face. So this is what this person is saying. That seemed a bit harsh. I get she is upset and passionate, but maybe she breaks down and cries instead. So little details like that where I thought this would be a really good detail, that Ethan's mom would spit in his face. Well, my readers thought that was too much, so I took that comment out and I made Ethan's mom do something else instead. I had another beta reader who said, you need to add a scene or scenes where Amanda is taking care of her dad after he's diagnosed with cancer, doting on him and seeming more worried. This was actually a really great comment. I took this to heart and added one whole scene of her taking care of him and her being worried about her dad. And I added several details throughout the book. So this was one comment that a beta reader made that I used throughout my whole book, and it definitely made the book a lot better. I also had, this is a beta reader who had a medical background, and she said, ethically as a social worker, once Grace finds out that Amanda is her client, and they had a history together, she would have referred her to another social worker and excused herself because of their past relationship. I was so thankful for this. I don't have a background in social work, and so this particular beta reader knew that would be a problem, that Grace could not be Amanda's social worker, and so I had to change that detail. So see, these are all very different details. All of your beta readers, due to their backgrounds and interests, will find different things that you need to fix in your book, and that's why I asked so many beta readers to read my book, because I have some that focus on medical details, some who focus more on the love and romance. I think another question I had from a beta reader was like, what makes Amanda the perfect person for Ethan? What makes Ethan the perfect person for Amanda? And that's a detail or a question now that I carry into each of my books. That's a fabulous question for feedback that I now go, well, yes, of course, I write romance. That should be in all my books. It should show, each book should show why the relationship is why they're good for one another, why the relationship is the relationship where they want to get married. So this is fabulous, having all of these different comments, and I love reading through them. And like I said, I don't read through them going, I can't believe she said that about my book, or that was terrible. Not even helpful at all. No, I don't do that. I look at these and I go, oh gosh, why didn't I think of that before? Oh, I can't believe I didn't know that. Or, beta readers will find inconsistencies where one character has, blue eyes in chapter 1 and she's got green eyes in chapter 10. These are little things that you need people to find for you, because when you're in the midst of your story, you forget things, because no matter how long you've worked on your book, you get in the midst of so many details, so many plot points, character development, you lose sight of some of those small details, and beta readers are fabulous for finding those. So I really hope you'll utilize beta readers. They're very helpful. So I hope that answered your questions that you have about beta readers. If you have any more for me, please let me know. And like I said earlier, if you want me to send you my email letter that I send to my beta readers and you want to use it yourself, please find me. I'm also on Facebook at Crystal Joy, so you can find me on there as well. But I'd be happy to answer any other questions you have. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Don't forget to subscribe for new weekly content, and happy writing.